webinar cases for the posterior malleolar fractures, and there's one on syndesmosis. I'm Lyndon Mason. I'm the foot and ankle trauma lead from Liverpool University Hospitals, and I also work with the University of Liverpool. So the first case, a 24-year-old car salesman. He sustained an injury whilst playing football. The doctor in fracture clinic removed the back slab and took a weight-bearing radiograph. The patient is happy to go with whatever treatment you recommend. So these are the radiographs. As you can see, it's a AP of an ankle showing a normal mortise with a shortened and rotated fibula. On the lateral radiograph, you can see a posterior malleolar fracture. It comes in on this lateral radiograph about 20% of the posterior aspect of the tibia. This is displaced, and for those who can notice that the talus is actually sitting posterior, actually on this lateral radiograph. So what would you do at this point? 67% said they get a CT to look at the posterior malleolus fracture. And this bears out in the evidence. So as I discussed in the webinar, on the plain radiograph, it's very unreliable. So 22% accuracy on most of these papers presented. This is the CT scan. As you can see, as was displayed on the weight-bearing lateral radiograph, the talus is actually sitting posteriorly as compared to the tibia. And there's also a shift both at the articular surface and at the top edge of the fracture of this posterior malleolar fracture. There's also rotation of the fibula, as you can see on the 3D rendered CT. There was a quantitative evaluation paper published this year in Injury, and it's quite a novel way of looking at the posterior subluxation of the talus. As you can see, if you do concentric circles at the articular surface and at the talus, you can see that this is posteriorly translated. So does this CT change in management or opinion of fracture management? So 44% said it pushed those who weren't going to do an RF to do an RF. There was also some, such as myself, who was going to do an RF anyway, and the CT was actually for me to plan my surgery. There was, however, 21% who said that the CT was very reassuring, and 11% that said the CT did not change their management, as they're going to continue to not fix this posterior malleolar fracture. So we know, I presented this in the webinar, there was 2 systematic reviews of the literature prior to 2017. Size was not a factor in the outcomes, but they did note an importance of articular step in the overall result. From our own paper published last year, the functional results for Liverpool over a 5-year period did show that our results were very poor if they had a posterior malleolar fracture. We have, however, improved these results in our repeat paper following the use of our algorithm to an OMAS score of equivalent to unimalleolar fractures. There's 8 other papers in the literature showing functional results equivalent to bimalleolar fractures or unimalleolar fractures if they have fragment-specific fixation. And also we note that the only mid to long-term paper, level 2 study showing that at 6.5 years, the reduction was key, and they even put this down as 1 millimeter. An articular step off was the independent indicator for functional outcome and osteoarthritis. So if you were going to fix it, the question was, how are you going to fix it? The majority of people picked the posterolateral approach, fixation of the fibula and posterior malleolus at the same time. There was 20%, however, that would not fix the posterior malleolus fracture. Now, we published this paper earlier this year, back in January in the foot, showing for this type 2A fracture here, that the majority could be accessed through the posterolateral incision. However, if you had a type 2B fracture, which we can discuss later, 17% required an extra medial posteromedial or to access them through the posteromedial incision. I'll discuss this much further in the discussions on approaches. So in this paper, you can see that when we get looking at our orthogonal screw, that for type 2A, it can be accessed through this middle to lateral aspect, and your posterolateral incision can give you access to this. This is just a schematic to show this. For type 2A, you can see you can get to the posterolateral and your fibula through the same incision. And this is what was done. I don't always just use one screw. I often use more than one screw and sometimes a buttress plate. But on this occasion, I use one screw, and you can see that the talus now sitting perfectly within the tibial articular surface on the lateral.